So let's talk about high, medium, and low shots. If I got in here to my stock base setup, feet pretty narrow, balls in the middle of the narrow stance, shirt buttons on top of belt buckle, all on top of the white stick in between my shoes, and I put the golf club down, can I keep my body in a similar position? Just gonna watch that it doesn't want to start tilting backwards. From that spot, balls in the middle, if I make a rehearsal swing, swinging it up, letting it fall down, swinging it up, letting it fall down, the goal would be, am I brushing the ground in front of these 3 golf balls in space, or am I landing it too far backwards? So from that middle position, it's going to be ball and a little bit of turf at the same time. So if I step in here, narrow stance, I'm going to set the loft how I want the loft to be. It could be face slightly open, face pretty square, up to you. I just watch that we don't start getting the face closed at setup. So I'm just going to go square face, handle just slightly forward, so it's going to be pointing into that left hip. From there, I'm going to take my grip position. Can I let it swing up, fall down, hold the finish, kind of observe what happens, and say, okay, I'm balanced on my lead foot, my arms are out in front of me soft, and that ball had a little nice mid-trajectory launch. If I bring in another golf ball, if I want to go higher than that, I'm going to place the golf ball just forwards the center or in front of that second golf ball in line. Now, same goal is going to apply. I'm going to try to land the club in the same spot as those front 3 golf balls. Now, on the higher one, I'm actually going to get a little bit of ground first. So as I'm taking my rehearsal swing, same feels, then I'm going to land it at those front 3 golf balls. I'm trying to avoid landing it back by the back 2 golf balls. So as they get set into there, still narrow stance, big toes are at the front and the back golf ball. My golf club's just slightly forwards the center. The handle's still going to point a little bit into my left hip. So I'm keeping the handle position the same, just move the ball forwards. That's giving me more loft down below. Right, so as I'm set into there, handle at the left hip, as I'm making the same motion, back and through, kind of supporting the club at the finish. Same idea where I landed the club around that golf ball. It might have been ball first, might have been a little bit of grass first. There's a little bit higher shot. Now in that position, if I want to go even higher, I can open my club face up. Same setup with the feet, same setup with the body, where I'm not going to start leaning backwards trying to get it upwards. I'm going to use the loft of the golf club to get it more up. If I make the same motion, and there's one that even landed a little bit more behind the golf ball, but it slid long enough to get that golf ball up in the sky. So if we want to hit a lower shot than normal, there's a golf ball now 1 back from center. As I walk in here, put my feet in the same position, handle pointing at that left hip, you can see I'm already taking the loft of the wedge and de-lofting it, making the wedge stronger in that spot. Narrow stance, ball's slightly back in that narrow stance, grips pointing at the lead hip, and then watching my body tilts that I'm still keeping them vertical with that stick out in front of me. Now the goal is going to be the same. Can I land the golf club up in front of the golf ball or out in front of those 3 golf balls in front of us? So aiming the wedge, nestling into it, handles pointing at the left hip, keeping my nose, shirt buttons, belt buckle all in the middle of my feet. Now as I'm making my motion, back and through, holding the finish, it's going to be easier to land the club in the front part of our brushing spot. I'm going to touch the ball first with less loft. As it comes out, there's going to be less wrist motion going through. The high golf ball, I can let the club kind of float past the handle, where the low golf ball, I'm going to feel like the handle keeps winning on the way through. So use ball position, use a little bit of changing the face if we want to go even higher. But remember, keep your setup very similar, where nose, shirt buttons, belt buckle are all in the middle. If you want to start with a little pressure on the front side, make sure to shift all that together as opposed to pushing the hips forwards, trying to get the ball up in the sky.